Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different. It's my very first get ready with me chit chat plus Q&A. I'm super excited for this video, and also it's like a little moment to celebrate that I reached 1,000 subscribers. To others it may seem small, but to me it's a huge milestone and it's a huge accomplishment just because it's not easy. There's been moments where I'm like, okay, it's really easy to want to give up and it's important not to. So I'm super excited. I feel good. Another reason why I wanted to make this YouTube video is also to just give you a life update, answer any questions, and just to share love. And I've just been feeling very, very inspired. I've been loving the color blue. The sun is out, the sun's out. I feel like myself again, especially because tomorrow's the first day of summer. Tomorrow's the summer solstice. I have now been swimming and I've been running again, and I feel like myself again, and it feels so good, and I want to hold on to that. It's such a beautiful feeling when you feel good inside, because I've been there before where, sometimes it's not always the best, and like sometimes times get really dark and it's not fun. And so when I feel good, I feel very grateful, and I want to be able to share that all with you. And so yeah, let's get into it. Let's get ready. Let's talk. And this is new to me. I've never done a video like this, but I am pushing myself. I'm trying to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, doing new things, not being stuck in the same spot. I want to grow, and that is something I always want to pursue, is always pushing for growth. Okay, anyways, all right, let's get into it. So I like to do brows before skincare, just because I originally was just doing my skincare and then brows, but my brows would get super flaky. So I think I left my clips over there. I'm so excited. Hey, I'm just gonna take these out of my face, and we're gonna start with brows. I used to buy the Rare Beauty brow gel all the time, but it gets expensive. It's like $20 and it's a small little thing. And I was like, man, I'm like just like going through these so fast. So now I actually buy like legit just glue from Got2b. It comes in a pack of 3. There's 2 big ones, and this is like the travel one. I just use this one for my brows. This is my first get ready with me, my first long form get ready with me. I'm typically not the best at getting ready and talking, but I do feel like I've improved, because I used to not be the type of person. I was never able to listen to things like a podcast or a video while making breakfast, but now I listen to full on podcasts while I make breakfast, and it's like my favorite little ritual in the morning. I feel like I'm learning a lot. I love to learn, and right now I've been super into listening to M on the Brain, and she's a podcaster. She talks about manifesting and also talks about the brain, and she's just so inspiring, and she's always like inspiring me on how to live your dream life and how manifesting works. But not just like the woo-woo part of it, like actual science-backed studies and information that backs up why manifesting works when you train your brain. When you train your brain to work a certain way where you don't let fear take over, but you let love and happiness and your nervous system to help you manifest that and that energy. Okay, so I use this to prime my brows. 24-hour brow setter. Again, I am no makeup guru, but lately I've been into makeup, and this is a great way to catch up with all of you. And then I just go in with my brows. Put a little bit of glue. This I do require some focus. And then I just go up. So yeah, I've been feeling very, very good. I feel inspired and motivated. I feel my spark. And to be honest, there was a while, especially when I first moved to New York, I lost my spark, especially because I moved so far away from home, and I had already done that for college. I had moved like miles away in college, but I still had like a sense of community. There was a lot of Mexicans out there. I was going to school pursuing something that I thought I liked, which I never truly liked. Honestly, I was just lying to myself. I was doing it for the money, and I don't think it should ever be that way. You should never be doing it for the money. Yes, you definitely deserve more. You deserve to make a lot of money, but you also deserve to be aligned with something you love and that you want to pursue and something that brings you passion. Where was I going with this again? And then I grab this and I just like clean up the gel. So the brows are done. I used to go like really heavy with the gel, and I feel like it was becoming a little too much. So now I go a little easy. I go easier with the gel. So where was I? I totally got sidetracked, but what I was also going to say is that I lost my spark when I moved to New York, especially because I was still struggling a lot with my health. I was trying to figure out what was going on with my body, and I just felt very, very lost. And I had just left the engineering work field, so I was in the process of doing a huge career change. Yeah, we were talking about the podcast and how I feel inspired and motivated, and I really want to hold on to that spark because it's something very, very beautiful. And I've been super into listening to podcasts, and it's helped so much. So basically, my focus right now is YouTube, content creation, getting 10K subscribers on YouTube and 10K followers on Instagram. And I know it seems like a lot, like, whoa, I just reached 1,000, but you have to be so delusional. You have to be so delusional because most people that are very, very successful in life, at the beginning, they were nobody and nobody believes in them. And maybe there are certain people that believe in you, but you have to be so delusional in a way where like a lot of people won't believe in you and they'll be like, oh, you really think you could do that? Like your dream life, you have to be so delusional with your dream life that it's not normal to the ordinary person, if that makes sense. And so my focus is YouTube, content creation, Instagram. I haven't really been too like present with TikTok, but another focus is regulating my nervous system, not just for my health, but what I've learned is that the state of your nervous system determines your frequency, and then that determines how you're going to manifest. Like in order to manifest what you want, you have to have a high vibration. You have to hold the frequency that you want to have when you manifest that thing. And so if you're always dysregulated, if you're always like easily agitated, which I'm usually easily agitated, and so I'm working on that. So if you're always agitated, you get irritated easily, and it's easy for other people's energy to affect you, you're gonna like go back to that start, that datum. What is it called? The datum. This is your start, right? This is where you begin. And as time goes by, you get better with your frequency, you improve, you have a great day. Every day is kind of like a reset. You wake back up, and then this is like where you start. But if you're always like, as a day passes by and things irritate you easily, you're gonna go back and you're gonna go negative to the point where you hold like negative energy. And it's kind of like what you put out, the energy you give out is the energy you get back. So if you're always easily irritated, you're gonna get that back. So I like to start off, I'm already sweating, with Rhode. I like milk toners a lot. I used to use the Tear or Tur. I use this one now, but if I had Tear or if they sent me PR, I would definitely use it. And then after, you know what? It's too hot. I need to put the AC on. If it's too loud for you, I'm sorry, but I really need the AC. So I am trying to improve on making sure my nervous system stays regulated. What I mean by that is I don't mean like staying calm and always staying like not being stressed. Like you can be stressed, but a regulated nervous system is that you allow yourself to feel the emotions you're feeling. If you get a little irritated, that's okay, but you don't let it dictate your energy. Like it goes through you. You have a moment with those feelings, you let go and you move on, versus letting that eat you up. And so just today, I turned my vision board that I made at the beginning of the year. I turned that into my wallpaper. And there's a bunch and some of it got cut off, but the main one that shows up is growing my audience on YouTube and Instagram to 10K followers and subscribers. And the other one is having a regulated nervous system, as well as like body movement, back muscle, my love life. So we have this, and also I'll be answering some Q&A in a little bit. Right now I kind of want to like share what I've been feeling and like all the beautiful energy I've been feeling and everything that's just been like helping me move forward. So the next one I do is moisturizer. I'm almost out of this one, the Tatcha. It's expensive though. It's pricey. If I don't use this Tatcha one, I really like to use this Glow Recipe one or this Medicube one. I think honestly, I like this Glow Recipe one more than Medicube. This one is like literally the end of it. This will be my last round of this moisturizer, maybe one more night. So I've really been trying to regulate my nervous system and call in that energy, because where your focus goes, energy flows, and the energy you put out is the energy you get back. So if you're always dysregulated and always irritated and agitated, it's gonna come back to you even stronger. Okay, this next one is SK2 Facial Treatment Essence. They sent me this one and I did like UGC for them. Another thing is that I feel like my skin has not been skinning. You know, there's that saying like, oh, the skin is skinning. No, like I have a blemish there, a really bad blemish here that I don't want to show you because I'm a little embarrassed. Also because I truly do feel like I haven't been putting as much focus towards my anti-inflammatory meals, and I literally just posted something this morning or today of like getting back on track with my meals. And because for the most part, skincare is also your food. If you eat amazing, it's gonna show in your skin. But everyone's different. Everyone has different hormones. Everyone reacts to things differently, and they could be having the same diet, but their skin may look different based on genetics. So I'm basically getting back on track with my meals and just like putting more focus into my vegetables, healthy eating, clean eating, just so that like my skin clears up. And then what do we do next? I usually do serum as well, but lately my skincare at night is a lot heavier than the morning. I just keep it maybe to like 3 ingredients for the day so that my skin doesn't feel as heavy. Okay, we're done with the skincare. Now I'm just gonna draw in my brows. They're not bad right now. I'm just gonna fill them in some parts. Yeah, I feel very, very grateful that I've reached 1,000 subscribers. I'm only going up from here. It's not easy. Like sometimes you're like, oh, am I doing enough? But recently I heard something where they said it doesn't matter how long it's going to take you to reach a goal. What matters is if you're going in the right direction. And I was like, you know what? After that, I was like, okay, I don't need to be rushed. I'm no longer rushing everything. I recently made a YouTube video about like 5 things I wish I knew sooner that I did in my early 20s that I no longer do in my late 20s. And one of them was rushing everything. I used to rush everything, and now I'm a lot more intentional with what I want to rush with. And so I'm feeling a lot better. Also, that YouTube video, that one was hard. That was definitely out of my comfort zone. I felt awkward. It felt more educational, so I felt like I had to be more professional. This one's more chill. This one's more get ready. I feel a lot more like myself, but that video was good in a way where it pushed me out of my comfort zone. And I'm like, man, I really need to improve my public speaking skills. And that's something I also want to focus on. So lately I've been like I've been talking in the bathroom and just trying to really articulate my words and not say as much and not repeat myself, because I tend to repeat myself. Okay, I think that's good. I'm okay if my brows are not perfect today. I'm also letting go with like not having to perfect everything. It definitely like takes a toll on your body. So yeah, I've been very, very happy with where I'm at right now, where my focus and my energy is going. I've now been swimming again and I've been running again, and I feel like myself again. The sun is out, fun's out. I already said that. However, I am not swimming this weekend, but this upcoming Monday, the pool opens during the week. Lately, it's only been the weekend, but this past weekend and this weekend, I did not swim because I did get an ear infection, and so I have to wait until Tuesday to get back in the pool. And for running, I have to wait a week to run just because my doctor like gave me a shot in my ankle because it was my ankle was bugging me for like almost 6 months. So he gave me a shot and he's like, okay, don't run for a week. So I was like, damn it. So my swimming was taken away, my running was taken away, but that doesn't mean everything is taken away from me. There's still a lot I can do, maybe not as intensely, but it's, you know, it's probably another way of like my body telling me to don't go so intensely with things. I really wanted to go to a dance class tomorrow, a salsa class tomorrow, because my friend's teaching a class. I think I'm gonna have to tell her I probably won't be able to go, just because my doctor was like, I asked him, I was like, can I dance? He's like, well, if you really need to and you have to, then yes, but I recommend not to, just to be able to get the full benefits of the shot. So I was like, damn, okay. So yeah, I feel very inspired. I feel amazing. I hope that all of you are doing amazing. I hope that you all know that you are magic and you are beautiful. That's something else I've really been calling in, is like manifestations, affirmations, believing in yourself, because the brain is very powerful. Your brain could either build you or break you down. You can either let fear take over, or you can not let fear take over and pursue what you want and move forward, and just like, you know, everything is a risk. Take the risk. Okay, what else? Okay, sunscreen. I usually use this sunscreen during the day. However, I'm going to be using Skin Tint, and that one already has sunscreen. But this one, I've actually really been liking it when I don't want to be as oily during the day. This really helps lock in your oils. So I'm just going to use it as like a primer, because it helps. It's a matte sunscreen from Supergoop. So yeah, your brain is very powerful, and I feel like I'm unlocking my superpowers. I always kind of knew that everyone has superpowers, and that's why some people have a lot more confidence or get further in life, and everyone's happiness is different. Like your happiness and my definition of happiness is different than yours. But you know what you truly want, and you can either choose to pursue more or just like stay where you're at. And there's nothing wrong with staying where you're at. But if you know that there's something in your head that you've been wanting to do, that you've been putting it off, do it. What else? So yeah, there's a blemish here. Like I said, my skin has not been skinning, so I am getting back on track with healthy foods. And it's not that I stopped eating healthy. I was just prioritizing more protein, and I was only like making veggies like once or twice a week, but I wasn't eating them every day, so it was showing up in my skin. My recent favorite products has been this Skin Tint. It's a base. It helps like lock in the oils. I don't get as oily. This Skin Tint. Wait, no, sorry. This is not Skin Tint. This matte sunscreen really helps lock in the oils. And this Skin Tint is so good. I don't know, Ciel. And in a little bit, I'll show you this Kosas blush. Like, this has been my favorite. I've never been like a huge blush girly, but now that's like my favorite thing right now. So yeah, with the brain, your brain is literally so powerful. It could either make you or break you. And a lot of the podcasts I've been listening to is basically helping you how to rewire your brain. Like with the light, whenever you turn on the switch or on or off, it's it's a circuit, and your brain is the same. There's a circuit. There's all these connections. Your nervous system is what helps you connect like your motor skills, your brain, your thoughts. And so sometimes your thoughts, your brain, there's a disconnection. And so that also contributes to a dysregulated nervous system. And so I've been watching a lot of videos on how to rewire your brain and not let fear take over. Because a lot of the time it's fear that like takes over. And sometimes what it is too, this is what's crazy, is that your reality is basically a perception of what you think you deserve. Like if you think you deserve more, then your reality is going to change. But if you think that you deserve exactly what you have right now, you're going to stay there. I've been really loving this Skin Tint. I like when my skin looks like skin. I don't really like heavy foundation. Oh shoot. I usually also I got like this new Easy Blur Primer from Huda Beauty. I usually add it right here before my Skin Tint, but I forgot. It's fine. Oh well. So what's crazy to me is that your brain filters your reality based on how you were raised. It really influences your thought process, how you think, how you see things. And so that's why I'm really trying to rewire my brain and basically be open to something that I may have not been open to in the past. A great example is that growing up, I was raised primarily like in a Mexican neighborhood. I went to school with all like mainly Mexicans, and I never really had like a white teacher or a white coach, nothing like that. And so I've always seen them as like there's this huge disconnection between the two of us. It's hard for me to see that we will meet eye to eye. However, I'm like, you know what? I think that way because that's how I was raised. And so it was always hard for me to see like the possibility of them seeing eye to eye with me or like getting advice. It's always been hard for me to be open to getting advice from them or even spiritual advice. However, I'm like, wait, no, it doesn't need to be that way. So I was putting up this wall and I wasn't allowing myself to be open to the opportunities and the knowledge and the teachings that I can get from them. And so I've been listening to other spiritual people on YouTube, podcasters, spiritual people, authors, and from all races, as well as white people. And I feel like I've learned so much, but I only learned because I allowed myself to. I allowed myself to be open to the opportunities and possibilities of learning from these people versus being closed-minded, if that makes sense. Gonna add a little bit more. I know some people feel a certain way when they touch this with their face, but it's my face, so it's fine. Nobody else is gonna use this. So yeah, this foundation is not like too heavy. It's light, it's nice, I like it. Another thing is that I've always been told that I'm selfish, and part of it is also because I was a single child for like 11 years. Not until I turned 11, that's when my little sister was born. And then once I turned 19, that's when my youngest sister was born. So there's huge gaps. So I've always kind of been like selfish, and I love them so much. I love my sisters so much, and I'm so grateful for them. However, I also recently but I've always known that it's okay to be selfish. And I think that's very, very important. And this is something that really stuck with me. But what I heard was like a lot of the time there's traditional parents, traditional grandparents, and with certain people, let's say for you, for example, you were raised in a way where your parents only ever got you nice things and never got themselves anything nice. And I feel like that's kind of like my mom. She's always kind of prioritized us. Like she doesn't get as many massages as like if I ever become a mom, like I'm gonna get my massages monthly. So I always see that she prioritizes us. And there's a lot of people like that in the world where they were raised in a way where their parents prioritize their children rather than themselves. However, it's important to still take care of yourself because it teaches your kids, and I'm not a parent, but it teaches your kids that you can also prioritize yourself. Does that make sense? Like there's a specific person that their parents only ever got nice things for their children. And so when the child tried to get their parents like expensive glasses, they're like, no, I don't want this, I don't want this. And they're like, no, you deserve it. And he's like, no, you deserve it. And then she was like, well, you're my dad. Like you moved to this country for better opportunities, for a better life, for the American dream. Like you deserve this. And so I think that's very important to know that you deserve what you want. You deserve more. Even if you're grateful for what you have right now, it's okay to want more. It's okay to want to pursue more. It's okay. It's like okay to always have a gap between what you have and what you want. Like you could already be grateful and be satisfied with what you want, but it's okay to want more. And so if you teach yourself, what I'm trying to say is that kids learn by what they see. If they see that you prioritize yourself, they'll grow into a person that also prioritizes themselves. And mom, if you're watching this, I love you so much. However, I do see that she always prioritizes others And that kind of taught me to like not want that. So I'm like, okay, I don't want that. I want to prioritize myself, but I still want to take care of loved ones and, you know, be there for others. But I could see that sometimes she struggles to prioritize herself. I think it's important as parents to show your kids to prioritize themselves so that your kids learn to put themselves as their priority rather than always like filling other people's cup versus pouring into themselves and putting the needs of others in front of their own needs. My makeup is super light. I don't really do much. If that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. So this next one, I have been obsessed with this new Kosas blush. I went in to Sephora wanting to get like a road blush, but they were out of stock. And in the past, I got these Patrick Ta blushes, the duos, and they're just so patchy. They're just so like blotchy. They don't go on right. Like it's really hard to blend. But this one is so easy. I'm in love with it. And it goes really good with this color. I'm like obsessed with blue right now. I just go like that. And I also usually do contour. But today I'm not going to do contour. I mean, I usually do bronzer, but today I'm not going to do bronzer. And I literally just go like that. And it's so easy. So easy. It blends so well. Literally so well. I love the color. So yeah, like if you're a parent, I think children are beautiful. Right now, I'm happy with not having children. But I think it's important to like every once in a while, once a week, go take your class. Go take your Pilates class. Go take your yoga class. Because you need your me time as well. Because like it's important to really still stay in touch with yourself. Figure out what you like, connect with yourself, connect with your divine, connect with your higher self. If your whole focus is just your kids, which is important, I think your focus should be your kids. But part of that should also be you. Like you should also focus on yourself. I see parents that always put their kids in classes and that's so amazing. Like I freaking love that. When I have kids, I want to put my kids in classes and acting classes and singing classes and all those classes. But at the same time, I'll be taking my classes as well. If that makes sense. Like I love when I see mommies at salsa. Look how easy that went on. It went on so easy. Like it's so nice. Sometimes I add 2. I have never had a blush where it blends so well. But I'm going to add more. Like just because you were raised in a way where your parents didn't put you in classes because, you know, at the moment they weren't able to afford it, that doesn't mean it always has to be that way. You can also put yourself in classes as an adult. Oh, my hair looks crazy right there. By far my favorite blush. And so right now, I used to be dancing super intensely with salsa, but I decided to take a break. And recently, maybe like a month ago, I decided to go back to dancing classes, but not as intensely, like twice a week is all I do now. On Tuesdays, I do Afro-Cuban, which I love because it's still like rooted in culture. It's also like Afro-Cuban is spiritual. The dance represents orishas, and orishas is like Afro-Cubans' deities, like the deities of Cubanos, or at least Cubans that practice that spirituality. So yeah, just like that. I'm not gonna do contour today. I'm sweating again. My concealer, because I went swimming 2 days in a row, and then after I got my ear infection, I got darker within those 2 days. So my concealer is a little too light for me now. But now I just, like, it's way too light. So I'm just gonna do a dot. Because if I do a line, it's too much. We're gonna put one right there. I have like a light spot right there. I think that's all my updates. I feel good. I've been swimming. I feel like myself. Sun's out, bun's out. So let's get into the questions. The first question is from my #1 fan, from my cousin Jazzy. She said, "Why are you so beautiful and how do you get your face so glowy?" She's so cute. I love her. I am beautiful because I am brown, I am indigenous, I am Mexican, and I came from my mama. And my mama is beautiful, and so is my grandma. So I am beautiful by default because of my ancestors. And you are too, Jazzy. Jazzy, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. But we sometimes are not beautiful when we get angry. I was bratty as a kid. So when you're bratty, your emotions come up. I still get bratty sometimes, so I'm working on that. So Jazzy, you are so beautiful too. And we're beautiful because of our family. And then how do I get my face so glowy? Honestly, I love my skincare, but by default, I'm just a very, very oily person. Like most of the time, some people are like, oh my God, you're so glowy. But it's literally just my oils producing. I also missed this spot right here. Like my grandpa, I don't call him grandpa, I call him Papi Fios, because my mom had me so young, so he became a grandpa very, very young. So he would get mad when I called him grandpa. So when I was bratty as a little girl, I'd be like, grandpa, grandpa. I would try to get him mad, and he's like, don't call me that. So I would just do that because I was a brat. Should I even do contour? Should I even do bronzer? Should I do bronzer? I don't think I should do bronzer. This part right here, I'm missing a little spot. Right here is a little red. And my grandpa's oily, so oily. And I am too. And he gets like acne and I get acne. So I literally get that from my grandpa. And I love him so much. But I think I'd rather get his cooking skills than like his acne and his oily face. Because my hair, I can only wear my hair down for one day because then I just have so much oil on my head. So yeah. And then the next question is, when are you moving back to Cali? That one, I don't know. For sure, we're still gonna be here this year. Most likely next year as well. And it all depends. Like also Sergio, my boyfriend, he works at a startup. And so the way things work is like if you work at a startup and then your job goes public and it becomes like something like Apple was a startup and then it went public, so it was no longer a startup. That's when like the OGs from that company, like with stocks, they get to keep the stocks or sell them or something like that. I don't know too much about stocks, but that's when you like get a lot of money. So right now he's been focusing on work, and with his company they want to go public. That's the goal. With every startup, the goal is to go public. So his job is here. So I don't know when we're going to move back to Cali. However, it's not like I'm not very like, oh, I want to like move here by this year, by that time. Because I used to be that way. And it just makes things more stagnant. Like you have to be open to the unforeseeable. Like you have to be open to the unknown. Sometimes things turn out better if you don't know. And so I'm not trying to like really hold on to the fact of like, oh, I'm going to move back to Cali one day. Who knows? Maybe a little birdie said, or maybe I'd love to like live in Hawaii for a year or something like that. Because like I've always said this, but I truly do feel like I am meant to live, or at least experience living near the equator for a full year. Because I've lived in Singapore and it was amazing. I thrive in warm weather. My hair is better, my skin is better, everything is better, my joints are better. I just thrive in warmer weather. And so that's why it was really hard for me when I moved here, because it was cold and then my bones would hurt. And this was before I knew I even had an autoimmune disease. Now that I'm aware that I have Hashimoto's, now I know why my joints were achy, because of Hashimoto's. And so people with arthritis, a lot of people, they move to like Florida for to improve like achy joints. So I just thrive in warmer weather. So who knows? I would really love to live somewhere tropical before moving back to California, just because I'm gonna put it out there in the universe. I'd love to live in Hawaii before moving back to California, because I know once I move back to California, then we would really try to settle. Like we'd want to buy a house. And when you buy a house, you have to pay the mortgage after that. Unless it's possible, unless like you pay a mortgage, you're paying off a mortgage and also paying for a place in Hawaii. I'd rather live in Hawaii first and then like get a home in California. Oh, thank God the AC turned back on. So yeah, Mom. My mom asked me that question. So if you're surprised, you probably didn't see that coming. That's kind of like something we've brought up once or twice, of like living somewhere tropical. And I'd love that. Like I'm naturally a beach girl. I am very, very, very happy right now because the sun is out. I had the best time of my life when I lived in Singapore because it was hot. I had the best time of my life when I lived in San Diego because it was warm, the beach. So right now I am very happy in the East Coast because it feels like summer. But once it starts to get cold, I'm like, I think I'm done with my makeup actually. Let me just curl my eyelashes. Yeah, I don't do much with my makeup. I usually do bronzer, but I don't want to do bronzer. I've also liked doing this, like bringing the blush right here. Okay, next question. What do you love about New Jersey? Why did you get into running? What's your fave thing? I would say right now, I love New Jersey. I wouldn't say I love New Jersey. The reason why we live in New Jersey is because it's more affordable than New York City. And we have like a lot of amenities. We have the pool here. We have a gym. We don't have a car. That's a goal. I am manifesting a car while we still live here for I don't know how many more years, X amount of years. I do want to be able to have a car while I live out here just because I feel like there's so much more I need to see. Like I'm literally living in the East Coast. I commute to New York City sometimes. Back when I was like dancing really heavily, I was dancing almost every day with salsa. I was commuting to New York City almost every day. But I feel like there's more I want to see in New Jersey. Also upstate New York, I've heard there's beautiful hikes. I want to hike a lot more. I want to see more nature. I'm calling a lot more nature into my life. And so there's other parts of New Jersey I want to see. I do like that New Jersey, like Hoboken is cute. I absolutely love like the waterfront right here. I live right near the water by the Hudson River. And that's why I got into running for the views. I would not be running if it's winter because it's too cold. I'm running for the views and for the sun. I truly believe that the sun is very healing. The sun gives me energy. Back when I wasn't able to eat a lot because I have IBS, there was a time period in my life where I wasn't able to eat a lot and I would get really bad stomach cramps 24/7. My stomach was in pain 24/7 for a good 3 to 6 months. However, the only time it got better was either with movement. And so that's why I've always really loved salsa because it was my gateway of like getting away from the pain. I've always loved dancing salsa even before my stomach issues and even after they improved. So it was movement that would really help me like get rid of the pain, at least temporarily. Or it was also just sitting outside in the sun, like soaking in the sun would calm me. It would calm my nerves and all the nerves in my stomach because your gut is your second brain. And so literally just like sitting out there in the sun would really help. It would really help me. Yeah, so that's why I got into running for the views. And it just feels so good. I feel free. When it comes to swimming, I feel so free. It's like a form of meditation. You focus on your breathing. It's very difficult too. Like it's hard. Like the last time I went swimming, it had been 2 years since I swam. And so focusing on my breathing was difficult. It was challenging, but it was it was almost like meditation. That was the only thing I was thinking about, nothing else, just purely focusing on my breathing. And with running, I am also focusing on my breathing, but I also get to enjoy the view. So that's why sometimes me and Sergio love to take the ferry from New Jersey into New York City because of the views. I love the views. I love the sunset. I love the sunrise. That's another reason why I also took a break from salsa, was because it took away time from other things. And now that I'm not dancing intensely with salsa or training as intensely, I have time for other things that brings me joy. I used to love swimming. With salsa, I'd get home at like 2 a.m. and then I'd wake up the next day at like 9. But with swimming here, swimming laps during the week is 6 to 8. So during the week, it's 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. during the week. On the weekends, it's 7 to 9. And so it's really hard to wake up at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. during the week when I would stay out super late dancing salsa or training in salsa. What is my favorite thing? I would say my favorite thing right now is my Afro-Cuban dancing, working out, and being at the pool. Like I'm not at the pool every day, but I love water. So right now that's my favorite thing. Is once this year gets better, starting Tuesday, it'll be, swimming more consistently. Afro-Cuban is on Tuesdays. However, I like to practice the movements at the gym throughout the week, once or twice. I would say my other favorite thing is food. Oh my God, I love food so much. And so that's why I feel like myself again, just because I am now able to eat a lot more things. My throat kind of hurts. And that's another reason why I feel like myself again, because I'm able to eat a lot more things. My diet was a lot more strict in the past, especially like a year ago, 2 years ago. This year, I have a lot more flexibility. I'm not eating gluten, but when there's nothing else on the menu, if I go out to eat, I'll eat gluten. So food is literally the way my skin gets better. It's how I heal my gut. It's how I improve my thinking. Because if you eat like garbage, you're gonna think like garbage. And that's another thing with the brain and the podcasters I've been listening to is your gut is your second brain. I even wrote it down. Where's my journal? M on the brain. She is a neurologist. Basically, I'll just share a few things. I'm gonna go off on a rant. Your brain basically is there for survival. There's a part in your brain called the amygdala, and that basically helps you feel fear, anxiety. When you're overstimulated and you're scared, that part of your brain is highly overactive. And so that's why when you have a lot of fear, when you have a lot of anxiety, or when you're angry, it's hard to make rational decisions because you're not thinking logically. That part in your brain is just like taking over. But there are ways to rewire your brain to help you create the reality you want. Something I recently learned is that you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So that's why you have to feel the energy and hold that frequency and call in what you want and feel that. Because if all you're calling in is fear, anxiety, and you're calling in that feeling of you not being worthy, then you're never going to get what you want. And this is what I said earlier. The state of your nervous system determines your frequency. Basically, the state of your nervous system determines the energy that's flowing through you. And so that's why there's a thing called aura. Like some people are able to see auras. Some people are able to feel aura. That's why, like, if you ever talk to someone and you're like, oh, I felt weird, like their vibe was weird, it's because you could literally feel their energy. And energy is something you can't see, and there's devices that can help you see, that helps you see the energy level, the heat level, and the different levels of heat. But the naked eye cannot see energy. However, they say that some people can see auras, but it's something you feel. You literally radiate energy in all directions. If you're radiating positivity, love, abundance, that's the energy you give out, and then you call that back in. And that's why it's also important to also protect your energy. If you want to radiate positivity and love, why are you going to associate yourself with someone that's just a Debbie Downer all the time? They're going to eat up your energy, and they're going to take that energy away from you versus like helping you build that energy and help you grow. And I also learned that so sometimes, if you've ever experienced this, you've most likely experienced being near someone and you're like, oh, their energy is off. Because you can literally feel their energy. You can't see it, but you can feel it. And that's the energy they're giving out. Science backs this up, but you can actually sync up brain waves, especially with a best friend, especially with someone that you have a huge connection with. That's why sometimes like you meet someone, it's your first time meeting them, like you're not as comfortable because you guys are strangers to each other. However, each time you talk to a person and if that connection becomes stronger, what I learned is that if you connect, you are able to see, there's devices that can actually help you see like a person's brainwave and like the activity in their brain, but you can actually see that their brain waves start to sync up. And that's why there's such things as synchronization. There's synchronizations of life. You could be like miles away from someone and you could be like, oh, you start thinking about them and then they call you. That is not like a coincidence. That's literally a synchronization because you're sending out signals. Yeah, that was a little rant. That's some of the things I've learned. But I feel so passionate about it because lately it's believing in myself and believing in the unknown and knowing that I don't need to see it to believe it has been like fueling me. I've been pouring into my cup with knowing that information. And so with these brainwave synchronizations and you being able to literally sync up with another person, that's why it's so important to be careful with who you associate yourself with. And you have to be intentional with who you want to spend your time with and who you don't want to spend your time with. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with my makeup. Let's see. Okay, one thing I did forget. Let's see. One thing I did forget to put on is my lip liner. I've been loving the look of contour like right here. Bronzer and contour right here and right here, but not today. I don't want to do that today. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that's been going on. Those are some life updates. I'm calling in more nature in my life because that's another way of regulating my nervous system and just being able to connect more with the divine and your higher self. I'm manifesting a car. Like, I do like it here in New Jersey. I wouldn't say I love it, but I would love to have a car. And honestly, like when it came to commuting to Yamule, which is the salsa school I was going to, every time you go, it's such a commute. I don't do well with long commutes unless, like, I don't know, you're going driving long hours, road trip, something like that. But I would have to be ready like a whole 2 hours ahead of time to be able to get there on time for the class. I'm pretty sure it's much easier to just, exit your building, get on the subway, and get to point B. But I see it in the foreseeable future where I have a car and I don't need to like take the subway to the Bronx. I could just like drive. And it'd be so much easier for socials because there's salsa socials that happen on the weekends, even during the weekday. It happens like late at night and they end late, like sometimes 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So I would love to just be able to drive back home. Let's see, what else? What else did I miss? That's another thing. I love hanging out with family and friends. I do not have family out here. I do have friends. But I'm also calling in other content creator friends. I am new to the content creator world. This is my first year where I go fully in, like all in with YouTube and Instagram. But yeah, I would love to make a friend. And I appreciate my friends right now too. But it'd be nice to have a content creator friend or even a gym bestie. That's something I've been also, like, one of my favorite things right now is working out, building back muscle. But I would love to have a gym bestie because I love living with my boyfriend, but I also love my girly time. I usually don't wear mascara, but today I will. Wow, we've been talking for like 1 hour and 11 minutes. Going back to why I got into running, when I was on a salsa team and it consumed my life, I didn't have time for other things. So I kind of like lost sight of who I was before dancing salsa. And a lot of professional salsa dancers, they start young. I am not a professional salsa dancer. I didn't get into salsa until I was like 21. I am now 26. What am I? 26? I'm either 26 or 20. Babe, how old am I? 27 or 26? Yeah, I'm 27. Damn, I forgot my age. So I am now 27 and I started dancing salsa at 21. I felt like I was a whole different person before I joined salsa. And then once I joined salsa, I went super heavy, like all in. It's all I ever focused on. Even my mom was like, you're always dancing salsa. When are you going to hang out with family? She made me feel like I was addicted, and I probably was. I had a very addictive personality. And then once I moved out here, I kept training. And then after a while, like once I found out I had an autoimmune disease, I wanted to focus a lot more on my health and my career with content creation and YouTube and Instagram. So I was like, okay, let me take a step back from salsa, focus on my health, focus on content creation. And then I was able to tap back into who I was before all of this, before my addictive personality. Like, it wasn't a bad personality. My mom made me feel bad about it, but whatever. So I felt like myself again, because the best time of my life was when I lived in Singapore, traveled the world. I wasn't dancing salsa. Another best time of my life was when I was living in San Diego going to undergrad. I wasn't dancing salsa, so I felt like I kind of lost that part of me. And it's good. It's important to explore yourself and learn more about yourself and figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you love, and find your passions. I think that's very important. But I think it was more like tunnel vision. Like even when I was dancing salsa intensely, I wasn't even hanging out with friends because I was too tired. I really didn't put focus into my family, my friends. It was hard to do all that. So I was like, you know what? It's time to reconnect with that side of me. And I'm glad I made that decision. I'm glad I made that choice. I also use this, but I don't want to use that today. It kind of like makes my face a little like itchy sometimes. I'll use setting spray if I know it's a long day, but yeah. Whew, okay, that was a lot of talking. I think that concludes our video. For those of you who had questions, thank you for asking. For those of you who are new, also thanks for watching. Again, I only have like 1,000 subscribers, but it only goes up from here. I hope that you also are living your best life, loving your life, growing, pursuing more, getting out of your comfort zone, prioritizing yourself. Even if you have kids, do that one weekly class for yourself, for your soul, so that you can still stay connected with yourself. I feel like sometimes what happens a lot is people have kids and then they have an amazing relationship with their kids, which is amazing, but they kind of lose sight of themselves. And that's totally normal. Like, yeah, your kids should be your priority, but also, you know, buy yourself that cup of coffee once a week, or go treat yourself to that one weekly class just for yourself so that you can connect with yourself while still building your family. I love you all. Have an amazing day. Love yourself, treat yourself, train your brain. Don't let fear take over. Get out of your comfort zone. And also believe in yourself that you are worthy of whatever you want, whatever dream life you want. You are capable. You are worthy of that, and you deserve more than you think. And I will see you in the next video.